Welcome to the Wander Women's Collective podcast. I'm your host, Gracie Hins. Before we jump too much into the episode today, if you could remember to review us on Spotify or YouTube or wherever it is that you're listening today, that would be super awesome. Those reviews go a long way for us small podcasts. Today, I have Sierra on the Wander podcast, and we chat about her crazy Western States Badwater double. This episode was recorded right after she did Western States, and so we jump a little bit into that. And if you're not super familiar with the ultra running community, Western States is one of the biggest 100-mile races in the world. And I got to be on the ground running around and taking some pictures, which was super awesome. But yeah, so she did a crazy 100-miler and then decided to do another 100-mile race the week after. And so we talk about how she got into this and kind of what the intention with it was, and just a bunch about her journey as a runner as well. So super psyched to jump into this episode, and I hope you enjoy it. I kind of just want to start off just getting like a little bit of background on you, and kind of just hearing about like who you are and like what you spend your time doing.
Sure. So I am a runner. I just ran Western States. So I do that as like a hobby slash, I guess you could call me a pro runner. That's not my main like gig though. I mean, I'm fortunate, but I also am a sales engineer. I was off work for a couple months earlier this year in between jobs, and I just got a new job, started like June 16th. So I'm selling like electrical services for like arc flash detection and basically acceptance and maintenance testing for electricity services. So I don't know, like I don't want to bore everyone, but that's basically what I do right now. Nothing too fancy, but you know, so and yeah, I live in Las Vegas.
I feel like that's the more like not more important side of life though, but having that reality of like, see all of the glamorous side of things, but it's like okay, like when you actually break down your week to week, like what is your time actually going towards? And it's easy to
hmm
forget and imagine that people are just running and having fun all the time.
No, I definitely had fun doing that for a couple months earlier this year, and it's a bummer that it had to end. But the job market's kind of scary right now. So when I had the opportunity, I was like, I kind of have to take it, when I
Mhm.
have it. So
Mhm.
yeah.
Well, and how did you like what's kind of the background on your running history and like goals, and then eventually I want to jump into the psycho like Western States Badwater double.
Oh, yeah. So I have been a runner since like seventh grade. I did track. I was like a mid distance, so I did the 700, or I'm sorry, the 800 and the 400, 4x8, 4x4, any of that stuff. And the same coach that coached track, coached cross country, so I kind of got suckered into doing that as well. And yeah, I don't know, like in college and stuff, I decided I wanted to continue running. So I did a half marathon and did a marathon and continued to do marathons for a while. And then um, I moved out west. That was a really big like factor and I guess ultra running for me because
Mhm.
in the Midwest, like everybody just does marathons and like road runs mostly.
Mhm.
And then out here, like trail running is a lot bigger deal. So just kind of wanting to be social with everyone and you know, FOMO, if you will, and just one thing leading to another. Yeah, I mean, I started doing like 30Ks on trail, marathons on trail, 50K, then 50 mile, 100K, 100 mile. And now I still run those other distances, but I don't know that I would say I'm a 100-mile specialist. I've done like 20 and I still don't know that I've mastered it just yet, but I do mostly 100 milers at this point. I did do like Warmuck 100K earlier this year, and I did St. George Marathon last year and Tucson Half Marathon. So, you know, in addition to doing all these hundreds, I'm still trying to like see where I'm at with this other stuff too. And I've gotten faster, so that's cool. But yeah, and here we are, and we're gonna run Badwater in like 3 days. So
What was the initial draw to the 100 miler? Was it kind of a progression thing, or was it one of those things that it was like, oh, like I'm just really cute? Like when you signed up for the first one, like what was kind of the lead up to that?
My first one, I was kind of like, I remember I paced somebody at San Diego 100, and that was a pretty, well, that wasn't my first 100, but I'm just telling you like the background. That was pretty, it was a good experience, but I think it was kind of brutal for the both of us because like she was having a hard time, obviously. She's the one running the 100 miles, and like I offered to pace her like 48 miles at this race, and at the time it was like the furthest I had ever went and I'd never ran all night, like, a number of things. So like
Mhm.
she's obviously emotional and on edge, and then I'm emotional and on edge. And at that point in time, I remember telling her like, I don't think I want to do one of these things. Like, I don't know, like I'm never doing this. And like probably not helpful to hear from the runner standpoint and things either, but yeah, she's like, I remember when you said, and it's like, yeah. But I don't know. I did like Ray Miller 50 miler and then I did Never Summer 100K and that one took like 20 some hours like that because that's in the mountains of Colorado. So it was pretty
Yeah.
brutal. I think that race broke me in a couple different ways. And then I was like, well, if you can do this for 20 hours, like you could probably do 100 miles because if it's an easier course, you're not going to be out there that much longer. So I entered the lottery for Mountain Lake 100 in 2019. So I was like, well, we're just gonna let the lottery decide, like if I
Mhm.
get in, I get in. If I don't, I don't. And I didn't get in, I got waitlisted, but then I got off the wait list. So like I think it was like a month or two before, I was like, we're doing this. Like we're gonna go run a 100 miler, I guess, in Oregon. So
Mhm.
that was 2019. And yeah, I mean, I was like 26 hours, I think, was my finish time. And I got stung by a bee at like mile 50 on my Achilles, so that was fun. It was raining. I mean, all in all, it was like a really cool, like I love that course. It's so pretty. I ran quite a bit with Reva, who ended up winning it, but like I didn't know what I was doing at that point. And I'm like, oh, this is fun, and I'm talking to you, so I'm gonna run with you. And she ended up having like negative splits actually the second half, and I was just trying to hold on for dear life at that point. So. Yeah, and then I did one that year, and then 2020 rolled around, and obviously COVID happened, so I didn't have that many things on the schedule, but I did like Black Canyon 100K. I won that entry at a yoga goo event or something random. So I did that, and that was like right before the world shut down, and then um I did I Am Tough. That was the one I signed up for that year. And I don't remember. I think I wasn't happy with how I did at Tushar's 100K, which was like my race leading into I Am Tough. So by not doing well at that, my friends 10 Junk Miles, they're another podcast, they had their Badger 100 for a virtual race that year. So I was like, well, I can get the buckle and I don't have to go to Wisconsin or whatever. So I'll run around here and do 100 miles and have my friends join and I get the buckle. And so I was like, I'm going to do another 100 before I do I Am Tough. So I ran 100 like up at our local mountain, Mount Charleston, and did like
Yeah.
loops. And that was fun. That was at altitude and it stormed really bad, but it was cool because like everybody came out and it was, like during COVID, you can't really like hang out in public places or anything, but outside, like it's safer. So that was fun for everyone. And then I did I Am Tough and that was my third. And that was really tough. That was a hard rock qualifier. Idaho.
Okay.
So,
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
mhm.
Mhm.
But it was fun. I mean, I had like bright blue hair back then in 2020, and my pacer had like hot pink hair, and like we had these matching outfits. Like my license plate says cat runner, so I have a cat shirt on for the fourth actually, but I like screen print these leopard print tank tops that said cat runner, and then we had like hot pink and bright red tight pants on, and everybody was like, yeah, like I don't know. It was fun, fun way to, be out there and race and make everybody else smile. So, um, and I don't know. Then 2021 was kind of, I feel like that was a rough year for me. I don't like health stuff. I never really had any good races. Like I ended up DNFing, I think two in a row, which was pretty bad. Like I DNF'd Coldwater and I DNF'd Uray. And then I finally finished Stagecoach, but it wasn't pretty. And then 2022 was good, and the years after have been good. So I don't know. 2021 just felt like a physical challenge for me in a lot of ways. So sometimes our bodies revolt, I guess, and we can't really explain it. But yeah, it makes when the easier days are easy feel, that much better, I guess. So
Mm-hmm. Out of all of the 100-mile races that you have done, what have been some favorites?
um
Or is there like a favorite?
gosh, I mean, I really like Badwater. I know a lot of people are like, why do you really like that race? But I'm doing it for a third time, so I guess I like it a lot. I like the heat that makes it a challenge. I like this course is really epic. I mean, you start in like below sea level, one of the hottest places on earth, and then you go to the Whitney Portal, which is awesome. Like, what other race can you run up the portal, you know, and run through Death Valley? That's one of my favorite national parks. So probably Badwater, and then I just did States. That was a really cool course. I mean, the energy and just the escarpment and like Cougar
Mhm.
Rock, and it was cool because I did training camp too. So then I kind of like knew what a lot of it was going to be like, and kind of gained an appreciation for it. And then on race day, like got to piece it all together. So that was really fun. Cascade Crest, that's a really good
Mhm.
one in
Mhm.
Washington. I think that one the all around like pre-race, race, post-race, and the race director, like I really like that race and it's just beautiful. Like most races they want to like tire you out and drag you out the whole day before with all this nonsense. And with that one is like 9 o'clock start, you come out before the race, they do their race spiel, you get your bib, you get all your crap. You're not having to like get tired, and
Mhm.
you could it doesn't screw up your whole travel plans the day before. But yeah, I like that one a lot. I Am Tough was really pretty too. That Idaho's pretty cool place. I don't know. I think those are my favorites. I've done like 20 now, so I think the loop courses aren't necessarily my favorites, but I've had like the fastest times on those. So.
Mhm. Well, and with the loop ones too, like I mean, it does almost make it easier mentally in a way because it's like you just know exactly what you're getting yourself into again and again. But yeah.
In a way, not really though. Like when you're like, I have to do 82 loops around this park, and you're trying to like mentally, like especially the track ones. I think I did Solstice a couple of years ago, and that was like 400 loops around a track. Like at that point, you're like, cool, I have 20 loops left. Like, I mean, they're different. They're different mental struggles in different ways. How's that?
Well, and with something like that, how do you kind of like mentally get through that?
Just plug away. I don't know, like get in the zone. I mean, some of these races I've ran, you can't even wear headphones, so that really sucks because you're
Mhm.
like running in circles all day and you can't listen to music. So basically, other than talking to somebody, which at the championship races, you can't even really run with somebody unless you're on the same loop because they consider it pacing. So there's like all these weird rules. So yeah, just trying to like I don't know, keep it together. It's difficult. I mean, the trail races, you can listen to headphones, you can talk to people, like anything goes basically from aid station to aid station, and then you have pretty scenery to look at while you're running too. Um, they're different. And then like, Badwater, you're seeing your crew every 2 miles. Western States, I didn't get to see my crew till Robinson Flat, which was like 30 miles. So, um, I think with the loop courses, you can course correct a lot easier too. Like, I think those are a really safe place. Like, if you don't have your nutrition or your hydration down or, a plan, like you can practice that in a safe setting there where you could make a really big error, if you have a 10, 15-mile gap between aid stations and an ultra and you don't have what you need, like that's a lot bigger deal than if you're like, oh, in another 1.2 miles, I can grab that other bottle or whatever. Like you're not gonna notice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally. Well, and so kind of like on your running trajectory, did you always anticipate that running would kind of take up this much of your life, or was it one of those things that you kind of started to just sort of fall into a little bit more?
Not really, because when you're like a marathon runner or like a road runner, your time commitment on things is way less. Like, I mean, marathoning is still hard. Like, don't get me wrong, like the 20-mile workout days or like the 16-mile days, like that's still rough, but like you're getting done way quicker than if you're like, oh, okay, I need you to go run 20 miles on the trail and then do another, you know, 30 minutes on the treadmill in a rain jacket later. Like it's just a way different time commitment. It's like half your day versus,
Mm-hmm.
an hour to 3 hours of your day. Yeah, I didn't really see it. And then it just kind of happened. And then I was like, okay, like weekends are turning into like I'm running and then I'm having a little bit of fun time and then like resting or like it just that's how it all unrolled. I don't know, like you don't really realize it's happening until it's happening and then you're like it's every weekend and that's just how life is. So,
Totally. Yeah, no, it definitely does that, especially when you're as excited about it as I feel like you have to be in the sport.
mhm.
Hmm.
Yeah. And yeah, you don't want to miss out. Like, you don't want to be like, well, I can't go to the mountain or I can't go on that trail run. Like, you're like, if I'm home, I'm going. Like, as long as I don't have something else. So
What was it that took you from the Midwest to wait, did you say Las Vegas or you Reno?
I'm in Las Vegas.
Las Vegas. Okay.
Um, yeah, I was dating somebody at the time who moved out here, and I kind of was like, I don't know. I had lived in the same within 20 miles of home my whole life, and I went to school and was only 20 miles away. Like I just didn't know any different, and I was content, but also I didn't really know what else was out there. And I always liked California when I was growing up. I was like, oh, I'm gonna live in California. I'm sure like everybody said that, but then I'm like, oh wait, it's really expensive, and I like having money and keeping my money. And so yeah, like I like California, but I don't think I could live there. But yeah, he moved, and then I was like, well, I'm not going to move just for you. I'm going to come check it out, see if I like
Mhm.
it. And because, the first initial thought of Vegas is like Vegas, like, oh
Mhm.
my God, I just thought about The Hangover. I was like, I don't know if I could live somewhere like that. And I visited, went to the Grand Canyon, went to Zion, like as visits when I was
Mhm.
here. And I'm like, this is awesome. Like, we're so close to everything, and I can like fly anywhere within like an hour. And like, I'm on the same time zone as like all these West Coast places. So I was like, all right, if I find a good job, like I'll go. And I did. And I'm no longer with that person, but like I stayed because I really like it. And yeah, I don't know. I'm glad because I was really struggling with the choice of like coming or not, and it was like stressing me out majorly. And I was like, you just have to do it. Like if you don't do it, you're never gonna know. And the worst thing that could happen is you go home. Like,
Mhm.
so
Yeah, exactly. It's like it's always one of those things that you always have a right to change your mind. So if you hated it, you could just spent a year and then left.
right.
Yeah.
Just move all my crap back, pack
Yep.
everything up, pack the cat up, go back home. So yeah.
It is true. Like I feel like Vegas is it is hard when you haven't spent time there because it does kind of have that like connotation of oh my gosh, it totally is Vegas, but you do have like you're saying like the Zion and the Grand Canyon and so much
hmm
amazing access. Yeah.
I live like 10 minutes from Red Rock, so
Oh
it's
my
like,
gosh. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Well,
nice.
and was it after so it was after you moved to Vegas that you kind of started to find more of the trail side of running?
Yeah, I mean, trails trails in the Midwest, like I worked at a running store and people would come in and be like, I need trail shoes. And I'm like, what do you need trail shoes for? Like you're running on a dirt path at Metro Park in Toledo. Like you don't need trail shoes. But yeah, like out here, like I went to my first trail run and it's similar to Reno trails. Like it's pretty rocky and deserty and like you could wear road shoes, but like if you want the extra protection, like most people wear trail shoes. And I mean, I was just kind of wanted to see stuff and be meet new people, and in doing so, like that's kind of how I got into the trail running thing. Like this is probably gonna date me, but like when I moved out here, I remember there was like this app called Meetup or something where I was like, oh, like it looks like they're doing a trail run, like blah blah blah, because I think it was before Facebook groups became a thing, or like like you just I met a lot of running group people and just people I still run with, or some that I still run with through that. So it was kind of a nice way to like know about what's happening, like moving somewhere I don't know anybody. So,
Yeah, the community element of it. Well, and is most of your
mhm.
community now in all running community, or how is it kind of like split up a little bit?
Yeah, like runners. I do have some climber friends because Vegas is pretty big for that. And some people that just aren't. I mean, it just, it depends. Like some people hike or they do bike. Like there's a lot of bikers, but mostly runners. Yeah. So,
And it's a when you're spending a lot of time running, it's easier to be hanging out with the runners.
right, right.
Yeah. What does kind of like a week and then also like a day in the life like look for you right now, like split between your job and then running?
So like this week was unique because normally I did 300s the summer of 2022, but they were 2 weeks apart, so it was similar to this extravaganza, but like a little more drawn out and a little more time in between. With this one, it was unique. I mean, this week, for example, we got home on Monday morning from Reno. I worked like a half day from home, attended some meetings, like did some trainings, and then do Monday night. Uh, I don't remember. Oh, I had like a recovery appointment. So I went to like this like fancy gym thing here in Vegas where this guy did like massage and like physio on different parts of me for recovery. And then Tuesday, I normally have a Tuesday morning trail run that I lead, but this week my toes were still pretty trashed from Western states. So I'm like, I'm not going to make it to the trail run this week. So I just ran 3 miles on road around here to make sure I can still move properly, and that went okay. Then I worked, and then I had a crew meeting for Badwater that's happening next week. So we got on the Google chat that night and talked about all things Badwater, and then Wednesday, I did 3 miles each day this week. I was like, I'm not going to overdo it, just going to get a little run in. I ran three, worked all day, and then got a massage, like a face and body massage after work. And then I went and got Mexican food at my favorite restaurant after that, and then went to bed. Had a margarita that was good. And then yesterday, I ran three, worked all day, and then just have been like preparing stuff for Badwater, like kind of still unpacking from States slash repacking for Badwater
Mhm.
and ordering things last minute, making lists. And then I had to meet with this lady who's writing a book on deserts that came up really like you and her, I think, reached out about the same day, and she's a reporter here in Vegas. So I met up with her at a local bar and talked to her about deserts and Badwater for a little bit and had dinner and then came home. I actually had another meeting with Mount Coast last night to talk about shoes, like how we can make shoes better for Western states, and then here we are today.
Wait, now I'm curious, how do because their shoe because they do they just have like the two shoes out right now? Or is it three? Every time I
So
talk to them, they're like, we have another one coming out soon, and then I kind of forget if it's come out yet.
So yeah, there's the P1, which is the stability shoe. There's the S1 that's like their, I don't know what you would call it. I'd say it's like their trainer shoe. I wouldn't race in that shoe. And then they have the R1, which is more of like the racing shoe, the performance driven. And then they have the Badwater R135 that they just came out with, which is like lighter upper, like it's cooler. I don't even know. I have like one sitting right here, but it's, you know, cool, whatever. Um, that's a good one. So that's new. We just came out with that. And then we have the H1 that will be coming out next year, which is like the road to trail. So I'm running in those right now, but those aren't available for sale just yet. And then the T1 just launched, and that's the trail one. Um, and that's the one that like myself and Harry were wearing at Western States for like the first part, and a lot of people are wearing those. I mean, those are like flying off the shelves. So, um, yeah.
Well, and how did you get connected to Mount to Coast?
Um, Karina, who is like, I think
She is
she's
a
leading up
spark
the
plug. Wow. Yeah.
what was that?
She is a spark plug, Karina.
Yeah, yeah. She had hit me up because I think I was one of the first athletes to get signed with them. Like I got on board June of last year. So she
Okay.
had hit me up and was like, "Hey, like if you want to try our shoes, like no pressure, like I'd love to send you a pair, just let me know and either way, like." And I'm like, "Sure, like, I don't run for anyone, so I'm like, I totally down to get a free pair of shoes." And I did really like them. Like I was like, this is a really solid shoe. So I told her I was like, this is a good shoe. Like gave her the feedback, and I started running in it more. And then I don't know, they just asked me if I wanted to be one of their athletes, and I was like, sure. And that's kind of how that went. So
That's
yeah.
pretty fun. Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, and it seems like a cool spot to be in, especially since they're still newer and like having so much of that kind of like feedback and innovation. Yeah.
It is nice, yeah, because I mean, I've been a runner in the running space for a long time, and I think I have a lot of personality, and I think it'd be difficult for me to like come on board with a company who's already like super established and like set in their ways. Like,
Mhm.
I think it's fun being with more of the startup vibe, and help grow and like kind of, you know, build the company, I guess, if you will, like, or have a part in that at least. So,
Absolutely. And like even with like the community and culture of like what are you getting to like put out into the world? I think it's kind of cool to be on that side of it.
hmm
So how did you come up with the idea of doing Western States and Badwater within like a week of each other?
um, So I got into states, which I had like already given up hope. Like I was at the watch party, and I think I was like 252, and they'd like called 255 or something for lottery entrance. And I had already like screamed when the other two people from Vegas got in. I was like, Bryce, you're in. And I was like, Gene John, you're in. And then I like had totally zoned out because I'm like, again, I'm not getting into Western or Hard Rock. Like here we are, like,
Mhm.
like let's just wait till next year. And I saw my name like come up on the screen. And I was like, what the heck? Like, I'm like, I'm in, like, I got in because it took like 7 years. And so that was a no-brainer. I was like, well, I have to run Western States. Like, I can't not. Like, and then I know Mount Coast was kind of in the discussions, on the sponsorship and everything with Badwater. And uh, I was already like kind of like toying with the idea of doing both, but I wasn't like 100% sold on it. I mean, basically because of the time in between. Like most of the time it's 2 weeks apart, but since he does it based on the lunar cycle, like for Badwater, like this year, it's not because like Harvey did it like 2 years ago and it was 2 weeks apart. And Pete Kostelnick did it 2 weeks apart. Scott Jurek 2 weeks apart. Like the
Mm-hmm.
rest of them all had that little break. So yeah, I was a little nervous just about the turnaround because like I've done Badwater before, so I know what that race demands, but I had never ran Western, and like I obviously wanted to try to give it my all at that one, which it was going well and then it wasn't, and I still finished, but you know, like I don't know. The fact that Mountain Coast was going to play a part in Badwater helped kind of seal the deal where it was like, all right, like I don't know. It just was like, don't, I already wanted to do it, and then it was making it easier for me to make that choice. So then I'm like, I guess I kind of need to at this point. Anyways, um, yeah, it's like, don't twist my arm. Like, I guess I'm gonna have to do both, which it wasn't a given. Like, I still had to apply and get in and everything. So,
Mm.
but I had time to think about it, like, 'cause he doesn't pick the field for Badwater till like February, like early February. So, um, yeah, and now this will be my third finish. So, like, initially I was like, I want to run the race, I want to try to win the race, and then I didn't really have like a set number of finishes in mind. But the closer I get to 10, the more I'm kind of like, I want to kind of get 10 finishes at some point. So, um, yeah, that's how that happened. And I think it will be okay. Like, I know a lot of people think it's crazy, and a lot of people would probably take a whole week off and not run after Western States, but I don't know. I mean, I had a couple months to just train and do nothing else. So I feel like my body did get a lot of rest and recovery. Like, it sucks that I had to kind of, you know, start something new right before all these big adventures, but at the same time, like, I am just getting started. My job's been pretty laid back, and like, it's not anything that's, I think it's all good. It will be fine. I've done this two other times. And I really like it. Like, I love being out there. I like the people. I like the race. Like, and I would be having sad FOMO if I wasn't there.
I'm like bummed. I like keep looking at Hard Rock and I'm like, oh, like I really want to be at Hard Rock, but then I'll be going to a bike event in Iceland and I'm like, I can't go to Hard Rock and then fly to Iceland immediately. Have to say no.
No.
But yeah, it's like
Yeah.
it's hard to say to not want to just like hang out with a fun crew of people. What
Hmm.
was kind of like I'm curious, like the Western experience, like kind of like how did the day go for you? But then also like with like how did it kind of like live up to the expectations of Western States for you? Because it is just one of those races that it's like, oh my gosh, like it's Western States, like it's so
Hmm.
rad. Yeah.
The day was going pretty well. I mean, I, I kind of kept it under control going up the first climb, and then I still felt like I was pretty far up in the pack at that point. I mean, I think I was like top 20 the first like 100K or to Forest Hill. Um, so everything was going good. I mean, there was a couple things where I don't want to blame anybody in particular, but like I was told the night before I was gonna see crew at like Duncan Canyon, Robinson Flat, um, Michigan Bluff, Forest Hill, and I think Green Gate, and then Pointed Rocks. And like, it wasn't like detrimental or anything, but like, thank God I packed gels for mile 15 because I was like, just in case. Like, we initially weren't going to do the mile 24, but then the day before, everybody had kind of got me hyped. So I'm like, okay. So nobody was at 24, which was fine because I grabbed my drop bag from 15, and I'm totally fine having like a random person like squeeze water on my head or whatever and then just go
Yeah.
through because that's like a quicker stop, or I didn't
Yeah.
really need to stop. So flew through that and then got to Robinson. I should have probably changed shoes at Robinson. I wanted to, but I was kind of nudged to not because we didn't have a chair there. So it was like, well, why don't you just wait and just stay in your T1s and then change them at Michigan Bluff or Forest Hill? And I'm like, okay. So I kept this. I knew what was next though. Like, I knew it was going to be fast and downhill and runnable. So I wanted to throw the H1s on. So I should have anyways, and I didn't. In that part, it went okay. Like, it got a little toasty, like, coming down, and then my toes started to really feel it at that point too, just from all the downhill. Um, and I don't know, I was still moving well. I puked like twice going up Devil's Thumb. I don't, that climb is just nasty. Uh, and then I kind of drank a Coke and like reset for 2 minutes at that aid station and kept going up to Michigan Bluff. Michigan Bluff was a pretty good stop. Like, that was quick. I was able to take my shoes off and we had R1s at that stop. So I just
Mhm.
threw those on because I'm like, get these off. Like my toes are killing me. So, and I knew that section's pretty runnable. So still moving pretty well then. Got to Forest Hill, got to pick up a pacer. I didn't get my headlamp or my waist lamp. So it was put in the bag for Forest Hill explicitly to give me at Forest Hill.
Oh,
We left and I noticed like a mile out that I didn't have my headlamp. And I'm like, you gotta be freaking kidding me. Like I'm trying to run this race and I'm trying to remember like all the crap that I need to. And I'm
mhm.
like, there's so many people there. I'm like, how does nobody like realize like, oh shit, Sierra doesn't have this. Like, let's go take it to her. So I was kind of having a little mini meltdown because I'm like, well, I can't go back because I'm the runner. But, like, long story short, we didn't go back for it. And my pacer's like, it's fine. Like, let's just keep going. We'll be fine. Like, I have a headlamp, you have your phone. The phone starts running out of battery, the headlamp starts running out of battery. I don't do well with headlamps because like I get this double vision type thing and I have really bad eyesight. So then I started getting nauseous from the headlamp and puking again. So then we get to Cal 3 and we had to charge the phone and like bum a headlight off somebody. So that was just sitting there, for no reason, basically waiting. And then finally we got to Rucky Chucky, threw the H1s on because they ended up coming to Rucky Chucky and not Green Gate. And the river actually felt really good. Like I was
Mhm.
terrified. I was like, I'm gonna be freezing, but like my legs were in so much pain and my feet that I was like, ooh, it kind of like numbed everything out for like 2 miles.
Mhm.
So that was fun. I don't think if they didn't have the rope, I would have totally sent it right down the river. Like
Oh,
those rocks were so slippery. Like
yep. I was in
um
there. I was like trying to like not fall over with my camera. I was so nervous.
yeah, so that was cool. And then I had my friend John pacing me and we got to see the Scott Jurek and like Hal Kerner aid station. And our friend Brimhall from Vegas is like friends with those buddies. So it was just funny because it's like, hey man, what's up? And then I'm talking to like Scott Jurek about the Badwater Western Double. Like, hey, do you have any words of advice? And like took a picture with them. We saw a bear when we were outside of Cool, California, just like chilling right by the trail. Um, and then there was more puking. It was pretty much a suffer fest the rest of the way. So it went from like really good 100K to like, let's just finish this and get a buckle. But I'm good. Like at the end of the day, I gotta go do another one of these next week, and it was my first one. I'd love to go back for redemption and to do my full potential, but it's like maybe a year that I can leave it all out there and then I don't have to do something else the next week. Mentally, that might be easier to handle, but it definitely lived up to all of its expectations. I mean, I guess I feel bad because I had been a part of states before in different ways, like crewing and pacing, but I'd never like really got to run much on the course or done the camp or met anybody. So like, I mean, I ran with my boyfriend for the last 20, but in the dark. So like,
Mhm.
honestly, I could have been running anywhere at that point and it wouldn't really make a difference. But seeing the trail at camp and meeting everybody at camp and then, meeting the race director who's super cool and like just all the stuff they provide for you. I mean, it's crazy. And then the race itself, like I had the same bib number as Luis Escobar, which is really crazy. And he was taking the bib photos and he's like, that's a really good bib number. Like I've never DNF'd. Like you can't let me down. Like just there's a whole bunch of legends, just hanging out. And it's like the one race where it's like everybody who's the best and just average people like all coming together in like one place, one time. And yeah, I mean, it's just that it's like Badwater, like the journey of that course is so epic. Like I love the point to points. Like it's really
Mhm.
cool. Um, like I did AC 100 the year that they had the out and back, and I was annoyed because I'm
Mhm.
like, I want to do the point to point. Like I want to go from Wrightwood to Altadena. Like I don't want to go start in Wrightwood and go up or go down and then go up for 50 miles and come
Yeah,
back to
totally.
Wrightwood.
Mhm.
Um, so. Yeah, I mean it definitely lived up to all of its expectations and more, and I would like to go back even if it's just for camp or something. Like I'll still apply. Still I don't know that I'm going to chase golden tickets necessarily, but there's just so many races I want to do, like, and it's like I can't do javelina every year. I really can't. Like I'd love to be a javelina, but I don't want to race javelina every year.
Do you have any
So
other races that you're like, I really would like to do this one in the next couple of years?
I don't know what I'm doing next year yet. That's still up in the air. The rest of this year, I have Wyoming Range 100 next month. So that'll be my hard rock qualifier. And then
Oh,
I'm doing St. George Marathon again. And I'm doing the Mammoth Trail Fest 26K.
oh, fun. Yeah.
hmm And Mount Coast is talking to me about JFK. I have not committed to JFK. It does sound fun, but I'm
It
like,
sounds like gnarly though. I don't know what it is about that. Like for some reason in my head, I'm just like, I think it's not enough. I don't know. It looks intense.
if it was all road, I'd probably be all over it. But the fact that I have to run on the Appalachian Trail for like the first 15 and then hop on the road, I'm
Right.
like, I don't know, because Lake Waramac went really well, and 100Ks are fun. Like a 50 mile, that'd be fun. Like I'm done in no time. Like, and you can make more mistakes. And I mean, I didn't make a ton of mistakes, but it's just you're not suffering as long and it's easier to manage, I think, that
Mhm.
distance at least. So, yeah, I don't know. I do want to do Tunnel Hill. I really want to do that one. I'd love to do Hard Rock, but obviously that's not up to me. I I'd probably do Badwater again. I don't know if anything else is coming to mind. Bighorn would be cool eventually. Um, I just don't need a Hard Rock qualifier every single year. So then it's kind of like nice because I don't have to do a crazy mountain race if I don't want to. And because that kind of just like changes the whole training. Like I got to get on the mountain as soon as bad water's done and I'm recovered. It's like, well, we better get in the mountains because Wyoming's all at like 10 to 12,000 feet. So,
Yeah, and like with
um,
altitude for being in Vegas, you kind of have an approach to that, or is it just taking extended weekends and being up altitude?
we have a mountain. We have Mount Charleston. It goes up to 11,900. So it starts at 8 and goes up to 11,900.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
I know I'm Seattle based, and so whenever I start to like think about altitude stuff, I'm like, I'd have to go back down to California or spend an extended amount of time
Yeah.
in Colorado. Yeah.
You're like string bean.
Yep, yep, exactly. Yeah. But I love sea level, not gonna lie. It's a great spot to be.
Yeah. I like altitude. I think it makes running at sea level much easier.
Oh, yep, absolutely. It was funny though, even just being in the Tahoe area for 3 weeks, I like got home and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Like my skin gets so excited about being back at sea level. Yeah.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah. Well, do you have any other, I'm like, any other funny, like Western States moments to share with people, before we wrap this up? Or things,
Uh,
or funny, like nuances that most people who are not running two back-to-back 100s, would be dealing with in this week space.
well, I made everyone Hawaiian shirts with my face on it for states. So you'll have to go look at that because that was cool. Before the race, I was walking around with Sean from Mountain Outpost, and we just so happened to end up right in front of Gordy Ainsley's station at the village or whatever. And I was like, oh my God, because Sean had been complaining about back pain. I go, you have to get like, you have to let the man work you out. Like, I
Mm.
mean, if you're complaining about being in pain, like this is the master right here. And like, I'm like, I ain't gonna let him touch me, but you can. And so we, I like, he had Gordy work on him and I recorded it. So it was probably like the funniest thing. Like your boy Scotty Jurek put it on there too. Is
Oh my
hilarious.
gosh. Okay, I'll have to look that up.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. So I have that on video, so that's great. And then Yeah, just like the vomiting was kind of ridiculous. Like Jamil ended up passing me at one point from Aravaipa because he was
Mhm.
having a rough day too. He rolled his ankle at like mile 4, and he comes up
Mile
behind us and
4?
saw my
Oh my
friend.
gosh. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Like right after you go over like in the high country and then you're like
Mhm.
going down on the trail. I'm like, oh, that sucks. Um, but yeah, he was like passing us like with probably 5 miles to go, and I'm like on the side like puking, and he's like, "Hey, what's up, John?" He's like, "Sierra," and I'm just like, "Yep," like, sorry. Oh, and then I don't know, there was a bucket at Cal too, because I had to go to the bathroom. I'm like, "Do you guys have a bathroom?" And they're like, "We have a bucket," and I was like, "What?" So like we went down to like scope out the situation, and it was like a bucket, like the trail had kind of went behind the bucket and
Yeah.
around, and then the other side was like where the aid station was. So you could like see everybody's headlamps coming by.
Oh my
And
god.
I'm like, I kept saying to my friend, I was like, I don't know if I'm getting stage fright or if they can see me, but like I just don't know if I can do this right now. And then there's like somebody else like waiting at the top of the hill to use the bucket. And I was like, I'm just gonna take wipes. Like this is I don't think this is gonna work out. And there was like kitty litter, like it was
Oh,
I don't know. I'm sure they gotta do what they gotta do and keep the permitting and everything, but I was like, ooh, I'm not big
little
on
extreme.
buckets.
Little extreme. Oh my god.
Oh, and then at mile 15, I was using the porta potty there and they had it on a trailer, right? And I totally forgot that because by the way, I fell down the stairs the week before the race. Like I have concrete stairs and I was going to get my
Mhm.
nails done and my UFU like flipped out, like the platform UFU. So then I
Mhm.
just went like right down the stairs. It could have been really bad. Luckily, it wasn't, but still freaked me out. So I had that incident. And then at the race, I'm coming out of the porta potty and had forgotten that I like climbed up on this trailer to get in the porta potty. So I almost just like ate crap, like falling into this trailer hitch, like off, like
Mhm.
your mind isn't even there where you're like, yeah, I climbed up on a trailer in the middle of the woods at mile 15 to use this toilet. Like, so I somehow like corrected and didn't like eat eat it, but it was like that could have been game over for me at mile like 15 because I fell off the porta potty trailer.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Oh my
so
gosh. That would have been a good one. Yep.
I would have been mad. Oh my gosh. Well, because
Yeah,
like
that's what
it's
took
just
me out.
so ultra runner thing to say,
Oh,
like
absolutely.
yeah, I was in a porta potty. So
That is pretty funny. I'm also just so excited to continue watching this whole rest of the week play out. Where is it that people can find you, follow
there
along?
is tracking this year.
Okay,
So if you go on the Badwater website, I'm bib number 5, and I will have an actual tracker. They're trying something out. So yeah, if you want to track me, feel free.
perfect. Wonderful. Thanks so much for tuning in today. I hope that you enjoyed this episode, and make sure to follow Sierra for more crazy running things, and also follow Wander Women's Collective on Instagram for all of our updates, and just some super fun posts and stories and other things Wander. I hope that everybody has a lovely rest of their week.